often here lately either. The young man, did he leave? Okay. Oh, he did.
Let the record show at 6 o'clock. We'll call our meeting to order. Sarah, would you please do the roll call?
Anthony Gokenhauer.
Here.
None of us can hear you.
Sorry,
Can't hear you.
is the microphone on? We're calling the meeting to order. Okay. Sarah, will you do the roll call?
Eddie Gokenhauer.
Here.
Linda Barnhart.
Present.
Eric Hall.
Here.
Buchanan Norton.
Present.
Tim Lewis.
Present.
Daniel Gant. Michael Bush.
Here.
Ronald Truitt.
Okay, we do have a quorum. The first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second. I have a motion, Mr. Goff, second, Ms. Norton, to approve the agenda as submitted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. The next item is our sunshine law. If you wish to speak to the commission regarding an item that is not on the agenda, this is your opportunity to do that. Okay? Let the record show that there's no one to speak under the sunshine law. The next item is approval of the meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Goff to approve the meeting minutes.
Second.
Second by Mr. Gokenauer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any questions?
Abstain due to absence.
Okay, let the record show there's one abstention by Mr. Lewis due to absence. Okay, we have 4 public hearings this evening. The first one is William Barrett.
William Barrett, file number 2309-322. The owner is William Barrett. It's located in the Hedgesville District, tax map 37, parcel 14. The site is located at 1037 Thatcher Road, also known as West Virginia Route 16, approximately 1 mile north of Tuscarora Pike, West Virginia Route 15. The owner is proposing the creation of a 2.07 acre parcel and a 30.49 acre residue. The proposed 2.07 acres is the location of an existing single-family dwelling which is served by private well and septic. The proposed residue also has an existing single-family dwelling served by private well and septic. The developer is requesting a waiver to section 305.4.1 of the subdivision ordinance 2009, requiring West Virginia DOH road frontage to proceed through the preliminary final plat process. In 2020, Mr. Barrett's daughter moved to care for him while he was ill. Her house was built under the guest residence clause, section 501.2.9. Mr. Barrett had intended to subdivide the parcel via a family transfer plat, but was unable to follow through due to his health. Now his daughter would like to sell her home and move away. The parcel would continue to use the existing 30-foot access easement and well and septic already installed on the site. Since the improvements on the site are existing, staff recommends approval of the waiver to section 305.4.1 contingent on all items being met at the preliminary final stage.
Thank you. Do we have anyone to represent Barrett subdivision, or William Barrett? Okay. Will you give us your name?
It's William Barrett.
Okay. This is a public hearing. This is your opportunity to make your questions or comments known regarding this project. Ask that you come forward, state your name, your address, and any comments you might have.
There is no one. I move to close public hearing.
Okay, let the record show that there is no one to speak from the public. I have a motion by Mr. Goff to close the public hearing,
Second.
second by Mr. Lewis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any questions? Motion carries. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Barrett or of the staff?
I hear any question, ma'am, I'm prepared to make the motion.
Okay,
Make a motion, we accept staff recommendation for approval of the waiver request contingent on all the items being met at the preliminary final plat stage.
Second.
okay, I have a motion by Mr. Gokenhour, second by Mr. Goff, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to approve the waiver, subject to meeting all the items on the preliminary final plat stage. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next public hearing is the lakes at Martinsburg.
The Lakes at Martinsburg, Section 1, Phase 7, lots 188 to 194, file number 2212-367. Developer is Banbury Holdings, the engineer is Integrity. It's located in the Apecan District, tax map number 2, parcel 35. The site is located along Weaver Lane, approximately 1/2 a mile west of its intersection with Williamsport Pike, also known as US Route 11. The final plat proposes 7 single-family lots on 1.6 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends approval contingent upon the receipt of surety in the amount of $55,008. The plat to be released upon receipt of surety and developer's agreement.
Okay, do we have anyone to represent the lakes?
Good evening, Ryan Perks from the Engineer Integrity Federal Services, and I also have with me Mr. Rick Fink representing the developer.
Okay, thank you. All right, this is a public hearing. It's your opportunity to make your questions and comments known. Please come forward, state your name, your address, and your comments that you might have. And
Ken
you will
Tucker,
have-
140.
You'll have 5 minutes to speak.
Thank you. Ken Tucker, 148 Shorefront Drive, Martinsburg Lakes. Martinsburg, Virginia. Thank you again for the work you do. I want to also thank you for the opportunity to update you on the continued malfunctioning of the stormwater management system at Martinsburg Lakes. You may recall Berkeley County required in their pre and post design that the wet ponds in our community retain 7.5 to 9.5 feet of water. This would likely be the case if the required liner was installed and functioning. However, the geotech report commissioned by Kinsley, dated November 22nd, 2022, page 3, states, although the predominant soil type was clay, no distinct evidence of a constructed clay liner was observed, such as discernible layering, composition, or consistency change at a uniform depth, or noticeable separation of the liner and undisturbed native soils. Put in simple terms, no distinct evidence of a constructed clay liner was observed. Please note that this geotech test was only done on one of the smaller ponds. To date, the larger lake, the one with the documented sinkholes, has not been tested. In any case, it is obvious that at least the same lack of a liner is likely true for this wet pond as well. Please remember, the Berkeley County engineers stipulated that these basins were supposed to hold between 7.5 and 9.5 feet of water. However, we, are here today. We are here today because the stormwater management system designed by Berkeley County engineers and installed by Kinsley at Martinsburg Lakes is malfunctioning. The last time I was here, this board instructed Kinsley to take this matter in hand. Let the record show, the minutes will reflect it. They have not done so. Many of the ponds have tall grass, garbage, and debris collecting, but no water. The last time I also reported that the water level in the larger wet pond was at about 21 inches. Since then, as more houses have been built, instead of the water level rising, it has subsided at an even greater rate. The ponds are empty, except for puddles here and there in the larger wet pond. This indicates that the more water drains into the malfunctioning wet pond basins, the greater the volume of water leaking into the aquifer. The lakes are dry now and no repair has been done by Kinsley, even though they promised you last time that they would take the matter into hand. Kinsley has not proven to be interested in repairing the damaged and malfunctioning stormwater management system at the lakes. Adding any more houses will create more drainage that will be directed from them, increasing the volume of water, resulting in even more leakage from the malfunctioning basins into the aquifer. Finally, board members, I would ask you to put yourself in our shoes. Not only would you be concerned about poisoning the pure drinking waters for thousands, maybe millions, but you would also be distressed over the 4 big empty holes that have every potential to turn into collection sites for garbage and debris. Please, do not grant any further permits until Kinsley lives up to its corporate responsibility of repairing the lakes. Thank you.
No. We don't need that. We've got time that we need to on this project, and that's just disruptive. Please contain that. Next person wishes to speak regarding the lakes. Sir, come forward. Sorry.
Good evening. My name is Margaret Mahoney, and I live at 2 Plumtree Lane. My husband and I just retired, relocated from New York, and we wanted to come here. We were told that we were going to have a beautiful on the lakes home. We had our home built, beautiful, and the lakes are nothing. It's mud, it's slime. We spent a lot of money to have it done, and every day I look out my kitchen window, I see nothing. It's mud. The ducks and the mallards, the cranes, they're all filthy, dirty with mud. They're walking in this, it's horrible. It's horrible to see, but we put our last of our money so we could retire, have a beautiful home. And what we were promised with the salesperson was we were going to have lake with fountains, with a path, and all the people that bought on the lake, there's maybe 10 homes. We all put our livelihood there, and we got nothing. And we're just so heartbroken. And we have Ken, who's just wonderful. He stood up for us, and we're trying to just get this done. We don't need more homes right now. We need to get that lake taken care of. It's hard. It's really hard every day to see it. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
My name is David Black, live at 251 Plumtree Lane at the lakes. When we purchased our home, we paid extra for the lot that we have because my house backs up to the lake. The sales pitch at that time was, you have this lake here, it's going to be stocked with fish, and you're going to have fountains. Well, you can't run a fountain on mud. That was their sales pitch. Unfortunately, I've watched since 2021 the lake to totally diminish down to nothing. And it's a shame that we have to stand up here and we have to fight to get a builder to do their job to make sure that what they promised and what they had in their contracts would be fulfilled. And unfortunately now they want to build more homes so that they can finish up their lot, move out of the area, and leave it to the homeowner. I don't think that's fair. And being a Berkeley County resident, I ask you to consider looking at that plot plan and saying, hey, this is not right. Let's do some more studying. Let's correct it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next person, please.
I'm Colleen Furman. I'm a retired police officer and a vet. And the lies that were told to my mom and I are extraordinary about this property. We moved out here to start a new life without my dad, who has passed. I am physically disabled 100% for the federal government. And so we came out here to save money, and we thought we found a beautiful home to live in together. And we were promised, like everybody else here, by the salesperson, Allison, that our water, that lake, would be full. And at the time, it did have at least 2 feet of water in it. But I was told by Dan, one of the managers on the land, saying that, oh, it will go back up to 15, and it will have fish in it. All the lakes had fish in them. We had to move them from the first pond to the second pond to the third to the fourth until they were gone. And now we don't have any fish in there, and we don't have any ducks. They're very little. There's nothing to look at. I absolutely hate being here in West Virginia because of all the lies I was told. And if I could switch my job from a police officer to a lawyer, I would take this on myself as a free case and put them under, because there is no, I don't even know the words to say how we were lied to. You guys, as the person said before, should put yourselves in our situation. My mom and I took our last money and sold our house, used that to buy this house. We no longer can buy a third house. It's impossible. I am in depression because of this, serious depression, seeing the doctor because of this. I would have rather to live in DC than to be here. But I was sold on those lakes. And I am sure the most of us were. And none of you would want to wake up every morning to look at a mud hole with ducks covered in that swamp.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Sir?
Robert Murphy, 110 Eaton Circle, Martinsburg Lakes. I'm one of the first 10 people to move there, summer of 2019. And my wife and I would often take trips while the house was being built and talk to the many wildlife people who would come with their high-dollar cameras to videotape the migratory game birds that were available at numerous lakes on the property. And over the years, I've seen them go away. Before the development, before the major part of the development, there was water, there was wildlife, there was fish. And I think that our friends at Kinsley have the expertise, the knowledge, the equipment, and the background to do the job and to do it right. And I would like to see it done sooner.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else wish to speak regarding the lakes? Sir?
Andy Farley. I live on 77 Plumtree Lane. We were also sold on the fact by Allison. She pointed out on the site their civil drawings, their site maps of the different ponds in the areas. Told us how deep they're going to be. She said that there would be stormwater management controls in the lakes. There would be fountains to keep the water moving, and that there would also be fish stocked in the ponds. And none of that has happened. We're on Plumtree. Look out for our back porch. We see a mud hole right now. There might be 5 or 6 inches of water in this thing. And this pond is several acres. So this actually is hurting the value of our homes, because instead of living beside a beautiful lake, we live beside an ugly mud hole. And what we're asking is to get what we paid for. And we would also ask that Kinsley be put on halt for any further construction other than these lakes that they were supposed to give us. We all around the lakes, we pay $25,000 to $30,000 more for our property than anyone else. So they basically made a promise, taking our money, keeping our money, and not giving us what we asked for, not giving us what we paid for. So we would like something done about that. If you can please put Kinsley on hold until they do what they're supposed to do. Because there are too many drawings that they showed us on the walkthrough in the model home of water everywhere, and it is called Martinsburg Lakes, not Martinsburg mud holes. That's what we'd like taken care of.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else wish to speak?
Yes, Kenneth Miller. My address is 271 Rushbrook Road. I, like Bob over here, was also one of the VIP members of this community. We were sold on, they had huge, colorful drawings on the wall of glistening lakes with lighted fountains in different colors. And we live right on the edge of Rushbrook, which is the first house when you come over the bridge. Right now, it's literally a mud hole right there. And when we first moved in there in 2019, there was issues with the ponds then, and there was we noticed there was like huge goldfish within some of the ponds, like koi fish that someone had released there. And then the pond across the street from us slowly started dissipating down to where it was literally a pond as big as this room. And my wife and I, we went down there and we saved like 5 or 6 5-gallon buckets of these koi fish and moved them to the larger lake, hoping that that they could survive. And like Bob said, there was people in there. There was eagles. It was so much. It was just a beautiful area to come to. And now I'm worried about the value of my property now, because if I were to sell now, you can't sell a lake if there's no lake. You can't sell. How can you call a development Martinsburg Lakes? It's just, and then not have a lake. And I feel that Kinsley should take care of it, and that not only Kinsley, but Ryan Holmes should be involved with some kind of litigation or held responsible, because they're the ones that advertise all this, grandiose plans for this place, and it's all within the planning commission. I'm sure you have it all in writing what the original plan was for this development, and they're not living up to it. So I just would like to see no more building done until they address what's the issues at hand right now.
Thank you. Sir?
My name is John Coolan, and I live at 192 Shorefront Drive. I've been at the current address for about 2 years, and all the items that were talked about right now are very valid. The one I want to focus on myself is I like to call leverage. I believe that if we don't have leverage against Kinsley, we're going to lose this fight. We need your help as a county, Martinsburg, to help us with this. If you decide that you're going to give the permit an okay, I think we lose that leverage. I believe we should not have this permit granted to them until they actually look into this further and come with a reputable, applicable condition and remedy to help us with this. There's a lot of people in the same boat. They've heard it all through here at night, and I believe that council is responsible for this. Not so much Ryan Holmes, because it's Kennedy who's the developer. I believe council is the key here. Again, I want to repeat, they have their expertise. They choose not to do this because it's monetary. And if we lose this here and you grant a permit, we lose that leverage. And I'm worried about that. I also know that once you grant them that and they leave, they get the bond that's still remaining. I don't know what the remaining balance is for bonds. I'm curious to know if you guys know, could tell us, could tell the people here what the balance of that bond is, because that's what they're after. And once they have that, they're gone. We don't have control of the HOA. It's controlled by council. So we don't have the HOA that will help us through the HOA itself, where we could take care of things ourselves, or with the developer themselves, council. So what do? The only leverage we have right now is the fact not to grant a permit, make them sure that they do something about these lakes, and start stonewashing. I mean, it's clear to me, if we lose this, we're going to lose this fight. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else wish to speak? Okay, if there's no one else who wishes to speak, I'm ready for a motion to close the public hearing.
If there is no one else, I move to close the public hearing portion.
Okay, I have a motion from Mr. Goff to close public hearing.
Second.
Second by Mr. Gokenhour. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of the applicant's representative or of the staff?
Can we ask that Ryan maybe address some of the concerns?
Can we ask that Ryan?
Yep.
Oh, Ryan Perks. Well, I think he would.
Question is to speak to the concerns that we just heard. Is that what we're asking? I mean, we've been here before and heard these concerns from the community, and have certainly conveyed them to the owner. You've seen the reports that we brought in, and are, looking into ways to address these concerns and determine what the cause is. So we have the geotech report. I believe it does say that it may not have been imported clay fill, but there was in situ clays, meaning the existing clays that were in the bottom of the facility were placed as the clay liner. And then, we've been working with the DEP to identify, I think they did identify at least one sinkhole that has then been remediated and overseen by a geotechnical engineer and remediated to get that closed up. So from the DEP's perspective, they have cited that we're no longer on the notice of violation in terms of the sinkhole mitigation.
Okay. Can you tell me why there's no water in the lakes?
The geotechnical testing that they've done to date has been inconclusive. I mean, they've looked for evidence of sinkholes, and the one that they did locate, they mitigated. But there have been no, apparent deficiencies that they could identify to say, here is the point where the water is leaving.
Okay, and this is DEP is telling you this?
Keith Allison, who's the inspector for the land development enforcement for DEP.
Okay. I have a report here That's Geotechnical Associates. I don't know if anyone would like to have a copy of it. We just have one copy. We could make more copies if you want to read it. It does indicate that, from what I can read in it, it does indicate that the holes have been patched or have been repaired. Listen. We don't need this. We're not in a dialogue about it. I'm telling you what the report says that I have in my hand that I'm willing to share with you.
Yes, we'll take a vote.
Thank you.
Let me say, we actually have this copy, and I was quoting from this.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what to tell these people. I mean, if there is no water in the ponds, and it should be water in the ponds, where's the water going?
Right, yeah. I think that's the ongoing investigation.
An ongoing investigation.
The right question is, what are you gonna do so that there is water as you promised?
An ongoing investigation has been ongoing for at least 6 months or longer, okay? When is there going to be an answer to this ongoing issue?
I think I'm going to ask Mr. Fink from Kinsley to speak.
Good evening.
Let's have your name for the record, please.
It's Rick Fink, and I'm with Danbury Holdings.
Okay.
And Danbury was the developer of the property. We purchased the property in bankruptcy.
Right.
Kinsley Construction was the contractor that built it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Danbury and Kinsley Construction have no connection. Danbury is a part of Kinsley Realty, which is a separate entity from Kinsley Construction. So what I can tell you about the water in the lakes is very little. There is current legal action against Danbury, against Brian Holmes, and against the HOA. And unfortunately, because of that, can't make a lot of comments. I do sympathize with what these folks are saying. I understand what they're saying, but I think the constant in all of their comments was Allison and Dan. Allison and Dan don't work for Danbury. They work for Ryan Holmes. And I'm not throwing Ryan under the bus, but I don't know.
Is it a truck then? Is it a truck?
So please.
You're trying to run the truck, maybe?
Let this gentleman have the floor. We were kind enough to let each one of you speak, so please let him have the floor.
But they are the ones that sold the homes, that sold the lots, that charged the prices. We sold every lot, every section for the same price. Whether it backed up to a basin or whether it was facing the townhouse, it was the same price. What Ryan chose to do is, that's up to them. That's how they market their property. There was a comment made about the name, the Lakes at Martinsburg. That's what we called it. Ryan changed it to Martinsburg Lakes. I've been to Cardinal Point, which is another development just down the road, at least 20 times over the last 2 years. I have yet to see a cardinal. So,
Listen, if I have any more of that, I'm going to have to excuse you from the room. This gentleman has the floor. Be courteous to him, please.
thank you. So the sinkholes that were discovered, they were remediated under the direction of a geotech from GTA, and they were closed off, sealed in the manner which they recommended. There was 2 of them. They were both in Basin 4. There have been no sinkholes discovered in Basins 1, 2, or 3. Where that water, and I really doubt that that much water comes into Basin 1, because there's only a small section, Ethan and Gabby, that actually is tributary to that basin, plus a little bit of paving in the park. The rest of it is all meadow, and, playground area and things like that. So, like I said, I sympathize with what they're saying, but we didn't bring the lawsuit; they did. So, again, I can't comment a lot on theories on where there's theories flying around all the time. Where's the water going? We don't know. But do you have any questions for me?
Legal counsel.
I'm the attorney for the planning commission. Do you have any plan in place to remediate any situation down there other than what DEP says? So the DEP is there looking at violations of law, and you can't create sinkholes which can be built. But these, of course, are an amenity pond that was built and sold as lakes. Is there a plan in place to make these lakes?
Well, I think that's easier said than done. We've done some investigations, find out what's there with the borings, to see how much clay was there. And there was 3 to 5 feet of clay in basin number 1. Someone said you only did 1 basin. You can't do borings in a basin that's wet. So basin 4 was wet. Basin 3 and basin 2 at that time also wet. Basin 1 even had some soft spots in it. They avoided that. So I guess, as we continue, if we find a sinkhole, if somebody sees a sinkhole, point it out. We'll fix it. Everybody keeps saying there's sinkhole, but nobody can tell us.
They were listed in your preliminary.
That was
Did you remediate all of it?
2004. I don't know. We didn't know.
All right, we'll have to find out because that's a comment coming for the as-built.
And that's what I'm asking is there a plan that's your goal, or are you just saying, what I heard from you was, we can't do much now because there's a lawsuit and you were blaming residents. So are you saying that because there's a lawsuit alleging unfair deceptive acts and practices and fraud against your company as well as Dan Ryan, now you can't go in and remediate this or have a plan to fill this with water, these lakes with water? How?
Well, I would think we're following our attorney's advice. There's no immediate plans for any additional export.
But you do understand that your initial soils report and your stormwater report that your engineer here provided the county, he stated that those upper ponds were amenity ponds. You didn't state that in the report to the county. And because of that, we expect them to be amenity ponds. The only stormwater control structure you have is at the bottom. It's the only one you signed up for.
Did you read?
Yes, I
the
did. I've read
entire
everything.
report?
Frankly, I've read everything. Yes, sir. I have. And
In your opinion,
no, not my opinion, sir. You stated, your engineer sitting right there. You want me to go back to my office and get it?
no, I know what
Okay.
you're referring to, but my question is to
And
you.
also in the geotechnical report, as well as the stormwater management report, it was recommended that you provide a liner. However, the plans were silent on that point. And I questioned whether the liner was ever really put in.
in your opinion,
Not in my
that
opinion, sir.
stormwater management report that you're referencing, has that entire development to date been built out according to that?
It wouldn't matter, sir. You said in there, in your report, how these ponds.
No,
were
I
designed.
disagree with you, Bo. You have to look at the whole report. You know, how much area is
So
contributing
then
to
you
this?
knew that when you were doing the initial build out and selling to them, what you're stating is that you knew that the ponds were not self-sustaining.
We did not know that. We did not sell lots.
But you stated that they would have a permanent water surface in your stormwater.
I didn't think.
Okay. Well, so it was-
You're taking a part of that report and pulling it out.
No,
Thing,
I'm
why don't
taking
you
your-
just-
And you're not looking at what the whole thing says.
I'm paid to look at the whole thing.
But you missed.
I didn't
Look,
miss it.
look at the map. Look at the map. Don't laugh, look at the map.
I did.
And how many acres were tributary to the
Like I said, I'm telling you what the report says, and it doesn't matter whether the subdivision is built out or not. That's not part of the deal.
Yeah, I disagree with that, so I'm sorry. Does anybody else have?
Okay.
From my understanding, you don't have a plan and you've not contracted with anybody to actually fill this with water, just to fill sinkholes when they're not. Correct?
Correct.
And you don't believe that you have to make sure that it's.
I didn't say. You're putting words in my mouth.
Do you believe that your company has the duty to make sure?
I'm not gonna answer that.
Okay. I think we've kind of got a little stalemate here. The particular piece of property that is being requested to have final plat approval, it's up to this body, I think, whether or not you want to grant further action to move forward. And I'll refer to legal here. Can we hold on this section because of the ongoing problems that is out there?
So, my understanding from engineering is that this is just building out 6 more lots and it's not going to negatively impact. The situation is what it is with these lakes. That's being litigated. Their attorney is trying to certify this as a class action. Encourage anybody to go speak with that attorney or others if you want to represent. And they're going to seek both money damages and make things. So I don't see any reason why these don't go. It doesn't have any impact on issues with.
Madam President, I just have one question. Mr. Tucker, is it? Yes. You made a comment that the more water that's in the pond, the faster it drains out.
That's exactly what's been happening.
I tend to agree with counsel and believe he's right on this issue, but this brings up the question of that perspective. Are you relying on any authority or any evidence or technical expertise to suggest that that is true?
Yes. So there's 2 authorities I'm coming from. If you do read the geotech report, you will read that it distinctly says that there is no evidence that a liner was put in. Okay?
That's not my question, sir.
Nope, well, I'm going there. We actually have one of our residents who is also an engineer, who likewise has indicated, all right, that one, unlike what Mr. Fink said, this is quite repairable and doable. It's just a matter of doing what it is should have been done.
Has that neighbor issued a report with credentials?
No, but if we knew we would need a report, then I would certainly have one for you, and we can get one. to contradict what Kinsley has been saying. And I would go as far as to say that there is another aspect. Sorry, I appreciate your input. There's another aspect. And the other aspect is this, that actually, regardless to whether they fix the sinkholes right now, reality is, if you don't, as my neighbor said to you, if you don't delay this, then we end up with a completed subdivision that satisfies Kinsley, but doesn't do anything to help your citizens. Kinsley is a corporate citizen that comes and goes and is national. They don't live here in Arkansas. I hope that you guys will entertain that thought.
I appreciate and I sympathize with everyone who's provided input this evening. For me, the specific question are these 7 lots that have gone through, kind of a lengthy process to date, and we're now kind of on the back end on the process for these 7 lots.
No, we were here early on.
Understood.
We came and we spoke.
And
you weren't here, but everybody else was here. Okay.
Is there any staff, developer, does anyone else want to address the comment of, not members of the community? I understand that position.
This is where it comes down to is, I don't think that there was enough investigation done to say whether or not the soil or the bottom of the pond is low enough permeability that it can hold water. Obviously, he did it to a point, and then something made it go away. More than likely, there are seepage channels within the embankment or on the groin of the dam that is allowing it to get out. When they did this last repair, that's what they found. When they actually opened it up, they found instead of finding a good fill material in the embankment, they found boulders that had large gaps in them. Big no-no, don't do that in an embankment. That right there tells me that there's probably piping and seepage opening up, and that's where the water is going. Without a lot of further testing, it's hard for me to sit here and pinpoint and say, but seeing the original preliminary plan, seeing the number of sinkholes that existed within this is clue enough that, one of them could have opened up there. Don't matter.
But as to 7 more rooftops,
But
you don't think it's a measurable
adding
difference?
7 more rooftops, they need the water to keep the water in the lake. If you just heard what he said, well, we designed it for full build out. Okay. I mean, if you want to go with that premise, I don't think these 7 houses are killing anything, and I don't think it hurts the merits of the litigation that's been. The other preliminary plan is the one where I would tell you all to dig in. I mean, that would be my suggestion. The problem with it is we don't have enough evidence, or I don't want to use that word, sorry. I do not have enough put in front of me yet. I keep asking questions. When I saw this report, I responded several times. I still ain't got an answer from nobody. I mean, I see things in here that make me question how certain things were done. And but I've not got an answer.
So to finally answer you, Mr. Bush, one last thought.
Yes, sir.
I think you guys have, the board have, a commitment to all of us as citizens. That when corporate organizations either use or misuse, your residents and the communities they're supposed to be developing for the betterment of Martinsburg. This is where you have an opportunity to step in, whether there's a precedent set in law for it. There's certainly a precedent set, such as human decency was right.
Sir, the public hearing's closed. What is it that you wish to speak?
I just wanted to say, why should 7 more families be subjected to this inferior situation?
Yeah. We hear all that. We know that. What I'd like to know is how much the bond is that is outstanding on.
But I don't think it's, if you're asking me, is there sufficient bond left? The as-built for this project was approved in 2012.
Oh, okay.
The stormwater design was as-built in 2012. and the county did release a portion of that fund. And what's left in there certainly is not going to, if what I think is wrong, is not going to pay for it. Now, the problem with, you come back to it is, why did we buy more? And I can answer that question. Because the stormwater report said 2 ponds were amended ponds. They were there for looks. They're not control structures. They're pastures with a module. They're landscape. It's art. All I would have cared about at the time is, will that control structure at the bottom be safe? Will it discharge accordingly to meet all the requirements? I don't even want to get into that tonight. But what I'll tell you is, if you're looking to say, is there enough money in there to fix it? Probably not. And you got to remember that bond was set prior to 2012 in like, I think 06, 08.
Mm-hmm.
So inflation alone.
Okay. All right, and I'm hearing legal counsel say that we should only be considering these few lots in our decision this evening, right?
Correct.
Okay. Planning Commission members, do you have additional questions?
My only concern is, I think it was last summer, is when this gentleman here was before us, and it doesn't sound to me as if they've gotten any relief since then. They've had to resort to legal counsel to try and get to the bottom of this. I would also remind, because I've not heard one person speak this, we've been in a drought. So there's been a minimal amount of water that would have gone to the ponds anyway. But from what I have heard, it sounds like what water would have gone there would have leaked through. And so, and it bothers me a little bit when our engineer is sitting there saying, look, we don't have enough information. You didn't have enough information to be able to, do your job, essentially. Do I personally think that 7 lots is going to have a negative impact? No, I don't. But we've gotten no results, no positive results since last summer on this project. That's my thoughts.
Okay. All right, the public's hearing closed, but sir, what is it that you need to speak to us?
The 7 house, anything, whoever else is involved in it, they're still getting paid. So, and I was asking if you guys can go when they do their next exploration in the water, so that way you can see for yourself, see what we go through. Because right now, you just get word from us, and you're not seeing it, you're not there. I don't know if you have an expert, I'm sure you have an expertise to go there and kind of back see what we see, right? And
Well,
in fact, so I would rather Kingsley, who's the other company? Benberry Holes, don't get any money. They're not allowed to build anywhere in Martinsburg until that is fixed. The same way we will send an investigation team until we get to the bottom of it, then I think they need to put more people and more hands in the investigation of the rig.
Okay, I think we hear loud and clear the project is not performing as it was sold to you. Sir?
Yeah, you brought up a good point about being on a drought. When we had some heavy rain during the latter part of the summer, we did get water into the major thing. Within 2 weeks, water drained in. I'm not a geologist. I have no idea where the sinkhole is. That's for people that have trained and qualified to find. But I can tell you that we did not have enough hot weather to cause it to evaporate. Okay, it just didn't miraculously go away. It went somewhere.
Okay, we hear you. Okay, Planning Commission members. Go ahead. If it's any, are you talking about the same thing that we've heard from everybody else? If you are,
Right, it was just really what
what's your name, please?
Francis Furman,
Okay.
to go to the shore. At 81 years old, I'm going to be selling my house. And right now, value of my house is just funded because of the situation. How can I sell? Morally, do I not tell the person that this is going on? I rather think I have an obligation to tell the person who's going to buy it, and they're going to say bye-bye. My daughter, who's disabled, is going to be stuck. So that's my personal situation, but most of us in here are retired. So everybody has a moral investment. We are not young folks who can take a hit, regroup, and go on. This is it for us. We bought our house that we thought we were going to live in and enjoy for a couple more, maybe a day. That's not the picture right now. We are all going to suffer financially. And I think that needs to be taken into consideration.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, planning commission members, you have a decision to make.
I make a motion that it be denied.
Second.
So you are,
Or table, no, let me back up. I would prefer to table it and see if there get some action on this problem.
Second, that's.
okay, I have a motion by Mr. Gokenhour, second by Mr. Goff to table until we can get some resolve.
Well, I like to put a timeline
Okay,
on this. And I don't know what's reasonable. I mean, I don't want to be unreasonable because I want to be able to give people an opportunity to get things accomplished. So
I would say a reasonable time frame for them to do some more investigation and go back and forth with the county and the DEP. I would say that a reasonable period here, 120 days. I would look at it as an investigation period. So I would say within that period of 120 days is absolutely reasonable for them to do whatever investigation they need to do. Figure out, one, if there is seepage in the ponds, if there truly is a loader, for the things they need to do.
I have a question, Will. Once you hold that back over it, it will be a move forward. When there's no investigation. If the winner's gonna hold back, I would say at least till at least.
sir, you're in the back of the room. I'm not sure what you're asking.
This was actually for a time.
He's saying 120 days to do, to,
22. I'm asking, is the winter going to stop?
No, we don't think so.
no,
Do drilling on your rig.
okay.
asking that this project be tabled for 120 days and be placed back on the agenda at the next meeting after that 120 day period.
Okay. And you're agreeable with that on a second? All right. Any further questions?
And I'm okay tabling it, really for the specific reason of, I want to hyper focus in on these 7 specific lots. And I would invite the residents, to the extent that you have any objective information that's, commonly accepted in the industry for technical geological practices. Candidly, this is a bigger matter for something bigger than these 7 lots. I don't know that these are going to move the needle one way or another, but I'd like to know more about that. So to the extent either
I will take that
parties,
on, Mr. Bush.
to the extent either parties want to provide information on that prior to expiration of this cable period, that would help me make my decision.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you for listening to us and with an open mind. We appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Don't take it outside. Don't take it outside. We finish.
Could I ask you to please take your conversations to the hallway? Thank you. All right, the next project for public hearing is overlook at Riverside.
Yes, ma'am. Overlook at Riverside, Phase 5, lots 53 to 64, 158 to 63, 214 to 221. File number 2308-260. Developer is the Rotz family. The engineer is Frederick Siebert. It's located in the Falling Waters District, map 7, parcel 160.3. Property is located on the east side of US 11 and south of I-81. This final plat proposes 14 townhome lots and 12 single-family lots on 3.96 acres to be served by public water and sewer. Final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends final approval contingent upon receipt of surety in the amount of $600,001, the plat to be released upon receipt of surety.
Thank you. Could I ask someone on the back there, please shut the door?
You need to wait?
Well, you know, we are recording this and it's difficult for them to transcribe whenever there's a lot of background noise and so forth. Thank you very much. Okay, go ahead.
Trevor Frederick, engineer with Frederick Seibert, representing the project.
Thank you very much. Again, this is a public hearing. Your opportunity to make your comments known regarding Riverside, overlook at Riverside at this time. Please come forward, state your name, your address, and any questions you might have.
If there is no one, I move to close public hearing.
Let the record show that there is no comments from the public. Have a motion from Mr. Goff to
Second.
close. Second on Mr. Lewis to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Siebert or of the staff?
Hearing no question, Madam, I make a motion to accept staff recommendation for final plat approval contingent upon receipt of surety in the amount of $601,262.40.
I have a motion with Mr. Gokenhour, second and Mr. Goff to accept staff recommendation, and that is to grant final plat approval pending cash receipt of $601,262.40. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Okay, we have one more public hearing, and that is Leatherman RV and Boat Storage.
Leatherman RV and Boat Storage, file number 2305-164. Developer is Lynn Leatherman, engineer is Frederick Siebert. It's located in the following waters district, tax map 7, parcel 102. Project is situated along Broad Lane, approximately 1,000 feet east of Williamsport Pike or US 11. The project proposes self-storage units on 2.32 acres with no utilities proposed. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. On October 16, 2023, the county engineer, Doug Smith, issued a letter of approval stating that the review of the above-mentioned project was completed and found to be in compliance with the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance 2009. The sketch plan meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends advancement of the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage.
Okay, do we have anyone to represent?
Trevor Frederick, engineer Frederick Savard.
I called you Mr. Seibert, didn't I, a while ago? Thank you. Again, public hearing, questions or comments for this project?
Move public hearing be closed.
Wait a minute.
My name is Grant Eisenhower, resident of 2102 Broad Lane,
Mm-hmm.
Falling Waters. We're next door to the proposed site for the Leatherman's RV and boat storage. And my only real question or concern would be knowing the condition of the grounds that this is proposed to be built on. We understand that there is some dubiousness about the perking of the land underneath, and we just have would like to be assured that any runoff from the storage of these boats and RVs may not impact the enjoyability of our land.
Yeah, so I can talk about that issue. The way the land lays today, Broad Lane is the high point of the site, and it slopes to the back of the property to the north. In the back of the property, there's an existing stream, and above that stream is actually a wetland that we had a wetland consultant go out and verify that's there. We're not going to interrupt the wetland; it's going to remain undisturbed in natural condition. All the runoff from the developed area will be captured in a swale. It'll swale down to a small little stormwater BMB, which will retain the water and slowly release it back in its natural state. So that's the condition of the property and how we're going to propose to develop it.
Will this, like the parking area in the storage area itself, will it be gravel, will it be paved? It's paved?
Yeah, that's why there was three requested waivers. So it'll be paid. They're capturing up everything.
I say, so that water should be able to be directed.
Yes, exactly.
To that point.
Yes. We also required screening as well on the residential side.
Any further questions? If there's no questions, I'm ready for a motion.
Close the public hearing.
Oh, I'm
Motion to
sorry.
close the public hearing.
I'm sorry, thank you. If there's no further comments from the public, on a motion to close public hearing. So moved. Motion by Ms. Norton to close public hearing, second by Mr. Mr. Goff. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, now is your opportunity to ask questions.
Hearing no questions, ma'am, I make a motion to accept staff recommendation to advance the sketch plan to preliminary plan stage.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, Mr. Bush, second by Mr. Lewis, to accept staff recommendation and ask to move it on to the preliminary plan stage. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's passed.
Thank you.
Okay, preliminary plan approval for Cardinal Point.
Cardinal Point, Section 6, file number 2307-237. Developers Panhandle Homes, engineers Fox. It's located in the following waters district, tax map 9, parcel 11.7. Property is located along the north side of Hammondsville Road, also known as West Virginia 901, west of St. Andrews Drive. Section 6 proposes 72 townhouse lots, 14 villa lots on 10.69 acres to be served by public water and sewer. At the November 5th, 2018 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted a waiver to allow 3 on-site parking spaces instead of 2 on-site and 1 off-site. At December 16, 2019 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted a waiver to Section 502.1 of the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance relating to the requirement of 2 points of access onto a public road or West Virginia DOH right-of-way for a development of 100 lots or greater. The approval was contingent on the bonding of Serena Drive encumbered by the authorized access road. There will not be a reduction and/or release of the surety on Serena Drive until the temporary serviceable road is built. On October 24, 2023, County Engineer Doug Smith deemed the above-mentioned project compliant with the subdivision ordinance of 2009. The preliminary plan meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends advancement of the preliminary plan to final plat stage.
Do you have anyone to represent the project?
Good evening, my name is Sean Fernandez and I'm with Fox & Associates.
Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Hernandez of the staff?
Hearing no questions, I make a motion for advancement of the preliminary plan to the final plat stage.
Motion by Mr. Lewis, second by Mr. Goff, to accept staff recommendation and is to grant approval to move forward to the preliminary plan stage, to the final plat stage. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, the next project is preliminary final plat for Carl King.
Carl King subdivision, file number 2303-104. Developer is Margaret Reese Stobbs. The surveyor is Ed Johnson. It's located in the Arden District, tax map 16, parcel 14. Project is located on Pecan Lane, County Route 9/17. This project proposes the creation of 2 lots and a residue, 5.6 acres, lot 1, 5 acres, lot 2, and 106.1 acres residue to be served by well and septic. On November 1, 2023, County Engineer Doug Smith issued a letter of approval stating a review of the above-mentioned project has been completed and was found to be in compliance with the subdivision ordinance. The project is found to be in compliance with the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance of 2009. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the preliminary final plat.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Good evening, I'm Ed Johnson, I'm serving on the project.
Okay. Any commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Johnson or the staff?
No question, ma'am. Make a motion, we accept staff recommendation for prelim final.
Second.
I have a motion of Mr. Gokenhour, second Mr. Goff, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to grant the preliminary final plat for Carl King subdivision. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Final plat determination, Crown Point North.
Crown Point North, Phase 8. BCP file number 2210-288 tied to 2102-031. The developer is Larry Faircloth. The engineer is Kimberly Petrucci. It's located in the Falling Waters District, tax map 13, parcel 1.2. It's located at the end of Cromwell Court, approximately 2,900 feet off Harlan Spring Road. The project proposes 7 new lots to be served by private well and septic, 2 of which are currently improved with existing homes, 1 a mobile home, shed, barn to remain on lots 6 and 7. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. On October 12th, 2023, County Engineer Doug Smith issued a letter of approval stating that the review of the above-mentioned project was completed and found to be in compliance of the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance 2009. Therefore, staff recommends the termination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of the final plat approval at the December 4th, 2023 Planning Commission meeting. I do need to correct one thing. On lot 7, there was an existing mobile home. That mobile home has since been raised and removed. So it does not exist. It is a vacant lot at this time. The only known structure is on lot 6, which is a brick rancher that was there since the 60s, if you know that.
Okay. Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Kimberly Petrucci.
Thank you for being our doorman.
Anytime.
No, not anytime. Okay, Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Ms. Petrucci or of the staff?
Hearing no questions, make a motion, we accept staff recommendation for final plat determination, advertised public hearing for consideration of final plat at December 4, 2023.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Gokenhour, second by Mr. Lewis, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to consider final plat approval at a public hearing on December 4. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. Well, well. Is there anything that the staff wants to discuss? Nothing? Pardon me?
Nothing that I want to discuss. Doug, don't even give me up.
Okay. All right, you have before you Planning Commission meeting schedule for 2024. Note that there are 4 days that the Planning Commission will meet on a Tuesday. 2 in January, 1 in February, and 1 in September. So make sure you mark that on your calendar. Right?
We need a motion.
I do.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Goff to approve the meeting schedule, second by Mr. Lewis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're in business.
There's nothing else, I'll move to adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Goff at 7:15. Second by Mr. Lewis to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.